because I believe brioche to be one of those doughs that can serve you in a lot of different ways. It's not just a bread. It's not just something that we, are baking off and utilizing for, in our case, the grilled cheese. Okay, brioche can be used to wrap beef tenderloin. You can sear it off, cool it down, put some mushroom pate in there, and wrap it in brioche and bake it off in the oven. Very classical dish. You can make rolls with it. You can also use this container when baked a certain way to fill. And then it's also used for dessert. Some recipes require a high amount of sugar, so the only real change, if it's going to take a lot of sugar, is to change the kind of yeast you're going to use. There's actually yeast out there that will help the dough and still continue to grow with the excess amount of sugar in there. So, but in this case, we're not actually using any sugar in our brioche, so we don't have to worry too much about that. We're going to use some flour. We got some instant yeast. We have some salt. We have some whole eggs, milk, and butter. So it's a very rich dough. We wouldn't call it a lean dough, okay? And the reason we're doing the demonstrations for it is because we've had some issues. It didn't work, didn't rise. It could have just come down to yeast. It could have come down to fermentation. It could have been a lot of things. So I just want to make sure we all understand how to make the dough itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our flour. We're going to add it into our mixer here. That's down. What? Was it really?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's one of those sides. It just swivels down.
Do what?
It swivels down.
Okay. So
Yeah, here. No. You lift on this. Just lift on this side and you can swivel it out.
well, look at that. All
I
right.
learned that.
You know, I still learn.
Brand new.
Right?
You just push it on. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So the first thing we want to do though is we want to put that instant yeast in there. Okay. So we want to mix that with the flour. When working with instant yeast, what we're doing is we want to get that mix in the flour so that it's even in there. Okay. It's not that big of a deal. We don't have to go that long. Okay. Just enough to get it around. There's a little bit there that's not, but we can fix that. Scrape it in there. Okay. It's a good practice to do when working with the instant yeast, even though the temperature of our milk is not going to be like what water is. Okay, when we're working with instant yeast and a lean dough, our water temperature is going to increase because that yeast is spread out around the flour. So when the water hits that instant yeast, it's going to actually, or the mixture is going to cool down a little bit, and it's put a temperature or environment for that yeast to grow. This is a little bit different, okay? That's not what's going to happen here, okay? So now we want to add our milk. Just room temperature is what we have, okay? What does salt do? If we're not careful. I'm not going to add all that. What will salt do to the dough? It actually will retard your yeast. So we're just going to get it started. We're going to come back. We're going to push the sides down a little bit on that too. Now with this type of mixer, it's a little bit different when we have to add our eggs and our butter. Okay? Because we have this guard on here. So what we're going to do up. Just going to add a couple at a time. You notice I gradually increase the speed, right? Why? Just keep adding the rigs a little at a time. Now there was some discussion about the dough being allowed to rise out of this. You shouldn't have to. Okay, you should be able to allow it to rise in refrigeration. Okay. Watch the dough, see how it's starting to come together. The next thing we're going to start adding gradually into it is the fat, the butter. Okay. Now, this was regular butter, right? So it's salt. Yeah, we add it out also. But what I brought up is, you notice that salt and butter. We need to add more. What?
I'm sure the recipe calls for salt. That much salt?
They didn't differentiate it, but you should have been using unsalted. The reason we want the butter softened is so that it incorporates into our dough easily. Okay, and this has been, we've had this butter out since we got lab started early this morning. It's a lot of butter. Really great little simple appetizer to use with brioche. I told you guys about it yesterday. Is to take escargot and saute it with some nice garlic butter and herbs, chill it, and then take little pieces of brioche, wrap the escargot with that nice garlic, and then let them chill, and you can serve it as little hors d'oeuvres. And if you're not a big fan of escargot, you can use other things. Clams, meats, lamb. What's that? Anchovies. Is that? Pickled halibut? You guys are really getting creative today. How about pound feet of trotters? Pound feet of pork trotters. What do you? You can see this dough has really got a lot of fat in there, okay? Okay, so we're going to add a little bit more now, a little bit faster here. And then we're just going to let it mix. So while that's mixing, I want to show you, we pulled this out, we made a batch of brioche on Thursday. We put it in the fridge, and then pulled a third of it out today and put it into sprayed containers. And as you can see, it takes a long time to get any proofing going on in this. This one's going to go right back into the food box, all right? So in another couple hours, we'll be ready to go to put it in the oven. Okay? So if you look in here, one of the things we need to do is scrape down our sides. Make sure that everything gets well incorporated. Let's talk about we use bread flour in here. Okay. Why would we use bread flour?
More good.
More good, right? Okay. It's an easy question, but sometimes, you know, that answer, you don't want to say it, but that's really all it is. It's just about gluten. Okay? Scrape it down one more time. Okay, so basically all we're going to do is after this, we're going to put it into this container here, cover it real nice so that no air gets in there so it doesn't oxidize, and then we'll let it refrigerate overnight. Okay?
Does that have to be greased in there?
You need to label?
No, because of all the butter that's in there.
Just 3 pounds of butter. I think
That
we're
could be
good.
fine.
Yep. Okay, we're good.